Hello there. Once again, it's Anton from Anton Bay. Thank you so much for stopping by the collection room today. Looking at Strange Tales featuring Cloak and Dagger and Doctor Strange, issues number 13, 14, 15, and 16. And I was very excited. I reacquired the series a while back, and I was burning through them pretty regularly. I've kind of taken a bit of a break on them, but I wanted to get back and kind of just finish out and run through the rest of them because this was a really interesting book and an interesting series at a weird time in Marvel. Oh my gosh, punished for driving a Ford minivan. Wow. Is the Punisher working with the Power Pack? That's funny. Doesn't seem like quite the best team up in the world, but so I talked a lot about how much I love the creepy gothic aesthetic of Cloak and Dagger, how they're isolated in this one small part of town, and it has this like wet, dirty, earthy feel to it all the time, and I always appreciate that. And I forgot that they ran into Power Pack, which for some reason I know some people are really into Power Pack, and I always thought they were like a laughable, mockable team back in the day. But it turns out a lot of people actually like them, and they're not as bad as I always made them out to be, but they were never my favorite series, and I know a lot of people still appreciate them today. And I know that their old series has actually got more traction than it had before. Oof, looks like we're talking a Kingpin now. You know, he runs some of these rough neighborhoods, so it doesn't surprise me. I'm kind of surprised we don't have any more run-ins with like Daredevil. Yeah, Frank Castle shaking down some kids. Seems pretty normal. But that's just half the book. Then we get into Doctor Strange stuff, and I am less familiar with what he's doing at this point, but he's certainly in a weird spot. East Coast Comics, Trenton, New Jersey. Cheapest books you can get anywhere, back when they were doing the thing. You know what? I'm going to have to look and see if there's still a company. Because I know they used to have all these ads, and that kind of makes me wonder if there's still a place that you can get comics. I'm sure they won't be as cheap as they were once listed in East Coast, but goodness, did I order a lot of stuff from East Coast Comics back in the day. Didn't have access to a lot of comic book stores. Lived a long ways out in the country, and so if I wanted comic books, maybe once a month I'd drive the 2 hours to a comic book store and see what they had going on. Raid the quarter bins, as you might imagine. It's where I was first introduced to series like these, was hunting in quarter bins. And it's funny because these books are, I mean, there's no such thing as quarter bins anymore, it seems. It seems like everybody thinks that no matter how bad the comics is or how rough the shape is, they want $1 for it. And it's just, it's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But I was able to get these for, I guess, right around the $1 point, so that's probably good enough. Actually, I think it might have been quite a bit less on these. Even purchasing them on eBay, I was able to get a steal on this deal. Yeah, some of the alien world stuff I'm into, some of it I'm not. And sometimes Marvel does alien worlds really well, and then sometimes it's just like, okay, you've just got like weird bio planets with bio everything, and it just looks too gross. It looks like the whole episode takes place in a lung, and I'm not into that. Give me some design. Give me some buildings, some actual structure here. Can't all just be a gooey mass of stuff. Bond beat at his own game. You gotta hand it to the hand credit to the covers on this. This art looks weird. It almost looks like his head is displaced from his body for some reason. Like I was having a hard time coming to terms with what I'm seeing here. It looks like he's twisted or something. Anyway, he also looks a lot like Sean Connery in the Highlander. It's a little odd. I mean, like, look at that. That's an amazing cover. That's the kind of stuff they were putting out on these. And your, let's see, penciler, Dan Lawless. Not familiar with Dan Lawless. I can't say that I've run into a whole bunch of his stuff. Pretty typical street scenes of things going on. A mugging in New York. An actual street fight. Wow. The end. And then an interlude. That's interesting. We don't often get interludes in comics. This guy looks like Sean Connery too. How many Sean Connerys is going to be in this issue? Cloak hanging out with Mayhem because he's all on his own. Wow, I don't remember that. I don't remember Mayhem coming onto Cloak like that. Huh. And a letter from Mr. Jip. That's not a bad looking alien world. I will grant that. You know, that doesn't look too much like the inside of a lung. That's got some biohabits to it, but it actually looks like an actual location. I appreciate that sometimes. Of course, this is probably Earth. And that's why it looks normal. Yep, it's China. What are you gonna do? Doctor Strange. Never one of my favorite characters is Doctor Strange. I don't know why. I never really liked him. Was never into him. I watched the movie. I don't mind that. He's okay as like a team member. Like I didn't hate him in some of the Avengers films, but just when it gets all about him, I don't know, the magic magician, sorcerer supreme shtick, I'm not wild about it. It's never been one of my favorite plot lines or plot devices. It's just, hey, that's just me. This, I'm pretty sure, is Mr. Jip, and if you'll notice, he's super, super icky. He's got a hand coming out of his back, he's got a finger coming out of his finger, and whatever's going on there, and there's lots of terrible things happening. This guy's awful. Yep, Mr. Jip. He's full of bodies and people that he's devoured by fear. It's Lawless on pencils again. Definitely got that creepy 80s dirty vibe to it. Just, and then the Father Mike. I think it's Father Mike is the one that like ends up coming onto her or gets possessed by a monster and becomes a monster later. I can't remember. No, it's not Mike. It's Padre. Gosh, I can't think of his name. Anyway, one of the priests from the Holy Ghost Church ends up being a problem later that Cloak and Dagger have to take care of. It's kind of sad. Samuel Brady drinking in the bush. Jip spying on everybody. More creepy art. Dagger has a new haircut. Go ask Alice. Promoting a web page answering service years before it was ever even invented. Alice who? Probably this lady. This lady is probably our Alice. They could give us a little more pizzazz on some of these pages. Like I appreciate the standardized art, but sometimes I'm just like, I think that they need to step it up a notch. Give me a full page splash. Give me something interesting, like really, really popping to look at. Looks like Strange has his hair cut and is back to normal looking. Oh, wowza. That's wild hair. Gosh, he just looks awful. Look at all the comic companies. There used to be so many retailers, so many distributors. There's almost nothing anymore. It's sad. That's pretty much it. Got the power, you've got the control. It's the two dudes from Contra and Jackal. I don't remember Jackal. Anyway, Forgotten Realms. This is a comic by DC. And apparently a fantasy adventure game. Interesting. I did not know that. Anyway, that's Strange Tales 13 through 16. There's only 3 issues left in the whole series, and that was it. They didn't produce, I think, only 19 or so of these. And it was just an interesting time because it's the last book of I Know that they used Strange Tales to cover multiple characters. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. That's my story. Catch you later. Bye.